What's up, everybody? Your boy P. Welsh here, bringing to you the UFC Welterweight 2025 division preview. We got the champ Bully B. Remember the name Muhammad? Leon, Rocky Edwards, number one contender, just defeated. Went the wrong way. Just defeated by Muhammad. Shavkat Rakhmonov defeating Gary to earn the number one contender spot. Kamaru Usman, phantom bout against JDM to be determined. Fourth ranked contender coming off the win over Gilbert Burns. What a comeback from JDM there. That's all I got to say. I'm a big Gilbert Burns fan. It's one of my favorite. Sean Brady, could be a problem. Sean Brady, JDM, Sean Brady, Usman, Sean Brady, Edwards. Bring any of them on, I think, is a worthy opponent. Buckley up there too. Buckley's tough right now. The welterweight division is, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to break down we're going to go through everybody first. Gary 7th, Gilbert 8th, Covington 9. Let's see if they match up, right? Gary coming off the loss. He'll take some time to recover. He'll fight late year. International Fight Week for Gary. Big matchup against somebody. Maybe Covington at that matter. Just a big, draw. Jeff Neal, see what happens to him. Steven Wonderboy Thompson, two guys maybe on their way out of the rankings. Jeff Neal's hard to put a finger on sometimes. He's so tough. I mean, he did get the good win against RDA, but RDA went down injured against somebody that. But then you got guys like Morales, Michael. I don't know what I'm talking about. Michael Morales. Freaking young gun stud just beat Neil Magny. Carlos Prates, another phenom. Luque with an impressive win. And Michael Venom Page there at number 15. And before we get into some of the other people in the division, we have MVP versus Sarah Bullet Magomed. But he's at middleweight. Fakardinov is fighting Gabriel Bumfim. Gabriel's the bad bomb theme against Fakardinov, who was literally gifted a win against Carlos Leal. Ponzinibbio versus Charlton Heston is next week. That's okay. Leal's fighting Morono. I like Leal there. Urus Medic on next week's card against Soriano. Medic is, I think, one of the guys that could climb into this rankings consideration by the end of the year. And, not the most talented division. I think this is where the UFC really starts to kind of separate. It gets to this point where the weight difference is so big for some of these guys and the cut is so tough that they have to pick one of the drastically different weight classes between 155 and 170. I just think it's where the UFC and mixed martial arts really, I think, I don't want to say they need a 165, 175, 185. I do kind of believe something like that. I think some guys would do better, like RDA, Gilbert Burns. Some guys would feast at 165. And that would also allow certain guys like Islam and bigger guys to also fight 165 that fight at 155 who have a tough cut. And then the bump up to 175 would make it a little bit easier for some of the bigger guys, right? But but 175 and 10 more pounds is a lot, right? But it's one of those things that I would like to see at some point if it would ever happen. At least talk to somebody smart about it. But 170 is the weight class right now. It's the welterweight division, and it's Bully B's world, man. Dude, and Bully B versus Shavkat. I know everybody's gonna say Rakhmonov easy dub, but man, I think Bully B is gonna have opportunities to get Rakhmonov in bad spots, dude. It's one of those things where Bilal loves to study his guy. He got an extra 25 minutes, dude. Rakhmonov was surviving in the 5th round. If Bully B's in that spot, I mean, dude, he's always going to be an underdog. Do you have the dog in you to pick him? I don't know if this division is probably the most complicated because if Bully B does win, then Islam is not going to fight welterweight, but if Rakhmonov wins, I think Islam could move up. Not even saying that he's going to dodge Taporia in a way, but, gosh, there's so many crazy matchups that can be made, and I wonder what's going to happen, because I feel like Edwards is always going to stall it out, doesn't want to lose his spot. He should be on the list. Sean Brady, Usman would be a fire matchup. You got to give Rakhmonov. Buckley, again, had a good matchup against Covington. Gary no scratching the loss to Rachmanov, Gilbert Burns, Jeff Neal, Stephen Thompson. Like, those guys going to be in the rankings, out of the rankings? I don't know. I think Gilbert Burns could survive another year. I think Covington's probably on his way out. And Jeff Neal, is he going to be active? He's coming off a win. Dude, Jeff Neal's tough, man. He's going to beat a lot of guys that are below him in the rankings. You know what I mean? Let's start going into some prospects that I really like. We can start looking at the list here. Danny Barlow's got insane reach, 9-0. Needs to be a little bit more active, and I think he has an opportunity. I would love to see him fight the guy right behind him, Brian Battle. I think that'd be an incredible matchup. Battle's got to make weight. Danny Barlow would punish him anyway. He's pretty much a better Randy Brown, in my opinion. You got Sean Brady right next to him, too. Danny Barlow's got insane reach. What happened there? He beat Josh Quinlan. Where's my guy? Let me take a look at him real quick. Wait, can I? Might have missed him already. I don't even know. Yeah. So I don't think that was a rescheduled bout, I believe. But yeah, Brian Battle's on a run. Again, he missed weight, bullied Randy Brown, which we've seen happen before. So not the most crazy thing to happen. I just tell you, this is just an older division at the end of the day. Just a lot of guys that have been around, have been in some fights, and boy, oh boy. Gotta look. Hold on. Danny Barlow's not in the top 50 of the welterweight rankings on this one website. That's incredible. What am I missing? I don't know how Danny Barlow's not in there. Maybe they don't have him up for some reason. I don't know, but maybe he's in a different weight class that I'm just not seeing. But yeah, I think Danny's got a great chance. I'm not saying that Josh Quinlan is there, but man, he's got like a 7'6" wingspan or something like that. Randy coming off a loss is good. Matt Brown, the immortal legend. I don't think he'll step in the octagon again. Joaquin Buckley, let's see what he can do, man. I really like him. He's really come into form into the welterweight division. One of those guys, I said, find the right weight class. But sometimes I think a lot of these guys struggle to succeed, especially on these big, they're like either cutting so much, then they're fighting a guy way bigger. Where I think the balance in division could be a lot better over time. I mean, Michael Chiesa's having a couple of decent performances, but he's not like a prospect or anything like that. Don't know if he can really perform it moving forward as well, depending on the matchups. JDM, big fan of. RDA, he's out. Ezekiel Dos Santos had some good performances, but again, he's got to do it again. He's not really fought anybody either. Not anything recently. He fought Zach Scroggin. He lost to Randy Brown, Fakardinov, and I think he drew Fakardinov, I want to say. So yeah, that's like, but then that's not even looking as good as it once was. Fakardinov, he's questionable at times. He literally lost to Leal, and they gave him the win. Oban Elliott, the Welsh gangster, nice little nickname there. I think he's got some potential, but he's still got a lot to prove, right? Like a lot of these guys, there's a lot of, in my opinion, low-hanging fruit in the welterweight division, and there's a lot of guys that need to prove they can hit the pinata, right? Guys like Ferguson, Filio, come on. Like Darius Flowers, some guys that just don't have much. Mickey Gall, Ricky Glenn, where's this? There's not a lot in there, right? There's some good people in there. Even Garimbo Griffin, they take L's like it's nothing. Like the levels in there. Bazel Hafez, right? Basel, the Leech is done. Air Jesuit KO'd. Keenan Song, not much, right? Jimmy Krause, I'm getting a juiced up Carlos Leal Angelusa, who lost the battle. It kind of got his butt whooped. Luke K's got to do some stuff. Mike Mallet, big Mike Mallet fan. Users Medic, to where we start to turn it around here. I think he's a great welterweight. Could match up against anybody in that top 15 to 25 and starch him. I know he's got a fight on the books here, so him being taken is good for his prospects. Soriano, a punchable person too. Meaty should eat him up alive, honestly. If not, I mean, Soriano's got rock hands too, but I think Medic got the movement. Yeah, Michael Morales, 17-0 prospect. This is the guy to really kind of look out for. He's in the rankings, but Magny, Matthews, and Griffin, 3 phenomenal fights in a row. Needs a little bit more finishing power. I mean, he ate up Neil Magny, but he's going to have a chance to get a good matchup. Morono, Neal, even Chitty's got some. Poor Gunny, man. I miss Gunny being active like that. We need some guys. The slug or not, Johnny Parsons. You're not excited about that. Like I'm saying, the depth of the talent in the welterweight division is not very deep. There's some exciting fighters, but we're mostly known about them, and they've established themselves quite highly. Right? You kind of know what you're getting with D-Rod. You know what you're getting in Slakovov. Nursulin Ruzaboyev, I mean, he lost to Buckley, but that's not much of anything. He kind of got cracked a few times. I think he's a guy that could crack the rankings sometime next year. I think he's a little bit older. He's got a lot of experience, right? He's only 30, but I really think I had him against Buckley, and that was a bad pick. Buckley was really good. But I really think we're sleeping on him in terms of a guy that can get a couple wins any kind of way. There's levels to striking, and I think he learned a little bit. Again, like Wellington, Terma, Gilbert, Urbina, these guys are very punchable faces. I'd like to see what Jeremiah Wells does. I know he took a unfortunate. I think he took a loss to Max Griffin, and got subbed by Harris when he was winning in the 3rd round. And Harris ain't even looking that good nowadays. I feel like Wells has a lot of potential. Again, it's somebody that's not really a prospect, but somebody that just has a chance to perform against somebody else in the welterweight division. I mean, Val Woodburn hasn't done anything. There's so many guys that just haven't done something. Semi the Jedi has done nothing. Like you're better off with some of these older guys that are going to peak, right? I'm better off with probably Jeremiah Wells and some of these mid-30 guys. D-Rod against Jeremiah Wells. I'm probably picking Wells, dude. I don't know. It's just it's a very top-heavy talent division, and again, it's very brutal and deadly. When you get your lights out, you get your lights out. The middle of the pack is very competitive, like Prost, Morono, Parsons, Patterson. I like Chitty's more on the top end. Again, not a prospect. I think he's like 36. He's very, very old in the tooth, but who's he going to get matched up with next? What are his situations, right? He's 35. What's next? 35-year-old welterweight, not always looking the best to go on a deep run. He can get against somebody and just get his lights put out. You never know. Chaos Williams, I really like too. He's not super active though, and hasn't really beat too many people in the welterweight division. He did lose to Randy Brown, and like I said, he's one of those guys that you could get excited about. But fighting once a year, how can you really get excited about him? How much can he really get moved up? Was he going to go fight Chitty once this year, and or I don't know what's going to happen. The matchups are always making it, and the guys kind of have to be active. I'm excited for Luque. Even finish on Buckley, but I don't know. He's got to pick his matchups well. I like MVP, but if he's fighting middleweight, like what's he doing? I don't know. He's a little older too. He's not serious about a title run. I think that's what he knows too. Because he lost to Gary. He's like, I'm not gonna play this kind of fight. I think he's gonna go for fights where he can look exciting. So I think that's where we gotta look for with Page, Michael Venom Page. But other than that, man, I feel like this is a really tough one to pick the champ at the end of the year. I think it could be anybody from Makhachev to Rachmanov to freaking, I don't know, man. It could be freaking Buckley by any god means. I think it depends on what's gonna happen in Rachmanov Muhammad, right? And after that, because if Rachmanov wins, I think Makhachev gets a title shot, right? But if Bully B wins, I think you could see Brady. I think you could see Buckley. I think you could possibly see JDM. And if Usman wins, he could jump the line. I could see Usman too. So to pick the title contender at the end of the year, I would probably have to. I mean, if I was betting and I had to lay like money on odds, I would pick Makhachev. But that's a bad look because I also do think Muhammad Rachmanov. It's one of those that I'm actually willing to probably pick when a day comes, depending on. Let's see when this stuff gets scheduled. If this thing's scheduled for June, I'm gonna pick Bully B all day, man. You're gonna have so much more time now. If this thing was in March, I mean that's still not a lot of time for Rachmanov, and he's not super active where you have to worry about guys burning out. Because once guys get to that third fight, that fourth fight, and then the next year, they always tend to fall off some. So always something to pay attention to. I liked Lusa, but he's not that. He's not as good as I thought he was. The cut to welterweight. I want to see 165, 175, 185. That's my dream. I don't really know what to say after that. This one's tough. It's what are the matchups going to be? Like, there's a lot of punching bags. I like Oban Elliott. Let me do I like Danny Barlow, Brian Battle, Mike Malik, Users Medic, Ruza Boylev, Oban Elliott, Carlos Leal. A lot of guys get injured. A lot of guys lose a lot. A lot of guys go very streaky over time. They go through a bunch of losses and then get some good matchups, go get a couple wins, get a bad matchup, get a loss or two. Magny, guys that are just stalwarts in the division. I think that's really what you kind of have to look at too, is kind of the stalwarts in the divisions, right? That's what it's like. It's tough to move because there's just so many great fighters, right? I mean, you can really start with Burns, Usman, Jeff Neal, Kobe Covington, Wonder Boy. And you got 33% of the division that has been the division, right? Like, they've been in there for how many, my entire, watching UFC career, which is, a few years full time, like every week. But man, oh man, I like Sean Brady a lot. Him and Usman would be a great matchup. Edwards, JDM would be a great matchup. Buckley, JDM, Buckley, Edwards, Gilbert, Covington is what I want to see. Jeff Neal, Wonder Boy would be great for the old boys, so they don't have to fight one of these killers. And let's see somebody we can face against Morales around here that we would do good against. Brian Battle would be a badass if Battle's not afraid of Morales. That's a gangster fight. Carlos Prates is probably moving up, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if Prates went Gary. That'd be a big matchup for Prates. Luque, again, probably somebody below him. The Leech, Dalby, Slaklovov. I don't think Luque punches up. I think Luque punches down an MVP. Randy Brown lost. Fakardinov, not the strongest. Magny, Chiesa, Slaklovov, Dalby, Chaos Williams, the Leech, Max Griffin. A lot of guys can move up in the divisions. A lot of guys can move down, depending on what happens. A lot of guys facing each other's Fakardinov versus Bonfim, MVP, Shira Bullet, Usman, JDM is still in the works. Leal, Morono, Uros Medic fighting this weekend. That's the guy. Uros Medic. Definitely going to be ranked by the end of the year. He's going to go on maybe a Prates-like run. Very clean, probably 3-0 year. I like Medic is my guy right now to kind of go. Medic and Ruza Boylev with a little, Danny Barlow, Mike Mallett, Oban Elliott pushing up. See what happens. See the matchups. Thank you so much. Let me know who you like for welterweight champion. Could be crazy, man. Never know. I don't think Bilal holds it the whole year. He might lose it at the end. I think he might get one. I don't know, man. It's crazy. Official pick by the end of the year, I'm gonna say Islam Makhachev, double champ status. I don't know. I just think he's gonna prove that he's the GOAT. If not, he's gonna lose in that fight to whoever he fights. Right? Like, I think he ties Anderson Silva and then Makhachev loses. I think that for some reason that's an insane streak. It's just bound to just go wrong one night. But I got Islam as the welterweight champ, Islam as the lightweight champ, and yeah, man, let's see what the frick happens this year. This one's a crazy division. Let's see the activity level, because this is where the division tends to stall out. It has been kind of active. We had Buckley and Gary and Rachmanov fight, so JDM needs to recover all the way. Usman needs a bout. Edwards, he's going to be ducking for a minute. Brady wants to get back at it. I mean, I said Burns and Covington, the old guys. Let's see what happens. I wouldn't even mind seeing, like, Leon Edwards, Jeff Neal, but I don't think Leon goes down that much. I think Leon wants JDM. Usman wants JDM. I think there's a lot of cool matchups you can make. We got Muhammad Rachmanov title bout sometime this year. See when that gets announced. That should be spicy. I like Bully B straight up in the matchup with the odds they'll give us. I think Rachmanov just, dude, it's just something to be about, all that extra training with the guys. I don't know. Bully B, man, remember the name. Much love, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know who you think is champ. Like, comment, subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Peace and love.